The government has given up on house prices. You know what really gets me? When people who are meant to keep this whole system under control just throw their hands up and say, yeah, there's nothing we can do. And that's exactly what's happened here. First, it was the politicians admitting their housing policies have backfired, and now it's the Reserve Bank. The RBA has basically said, house prices, not our problem. So hang on with me for a couple of minutes because I'm going to show you exactly what the RBA governor just said, why it's one of the most chilling messages we've ever heard for first home buyers, and what this means for the future of Australia's housing market. Let's start with what's happening right now. House prices are hitting new highs again. September saw another big jump, 0.8% nationally. Guys, that is huge. This is the biggest monthly rise in almost 2 years. Every single capital city is up. Even regional areas are climbing. We've had 3 rate cuts already this year, February, May, August, taking the cash rate down to just 3.6%. Guys, this is historically a very low interest rate. And what happened? Prices kept climbing. They're now 6% higher than a year ago, with some cities running way hotter than that. So naturally, people started asking the RBA the question, aren't you worried this is getting out of control? And the answer from the RBA governor, Michelle Bullock, was chilling. She literally said, there's nothing I can do. Think about that. The most powerful person in the country when it comes to money, our money, the nation's money, the one who moves rates, the one who shapes our economy, is saying she can't do anything about housing. Her exact words were, all I can do is keep inflation low and employment strong. There's nothing I can personally do about house prices. We don't target them. And look, Michelle's actually right about one thing. When they cut rates to support the economy, it does make housing more expensive. But the RBA is saying that's just part of how their system works. They're not even trying to stop it anymore. And here's another shocker. Not long ago, even the Prime Minister came out and said his government's 5% deposit scheme will push prices higher. He tried to downplay it, saying it'll only be a slight increase, but come on, we all know what that means. If the PM himself is saying his own scheme is going to make housing more expensive, that tells you everything. Because what's happening right now, it's absolute madness. The politicians are admitting their policies are broken, but they keep doing it anyway. They roll out these quick fixes, short-term sugar hits, anything to win a headline or score votes during an election. But who's actually thinking about the next generation? Who's looking out for the future of this country? Because every move they make is just making it harder for everyday Aussies to buy a home. So what are we doing? Who's taking responsibility for this? Now, that might sound technical, but here's why it matters. For years, we've been told that the RBA is watching everything: the economy, inflation, unemployment, the property market. But now they have basically said, yeah, house prices will go the way they go, not our job. So while everyday Aussies are getting priced out, the people in charge are admitting they can't control it. And it's not just that they can't, they never really have. Every time they drop rates, prices boom. Every time they raise rates, prices slow for a bit and then take off again. They've lost control of it, and now they're just saying it out loud. Now here's the real problem that we do have: property supply. Building approvals have absolutely crashed, down 6% in August after an 8% drop in July. We're now building less than 200,000 homes a year when we need at least 240,000 just to catch up. So while demand keeps growing, the number of new homes keeps falling. So what's the government's plan around this? Another round of affordability schemes? The 5% deposit program? Higher price caps? More stimulus? It's the same old story. More demand stimulus, more policies that drive more demand, but nothing around solving the supply crisis. Every new policy just adds fuel to the fire. We actually have a structural problem around the production of new property, new affordable property for people to get their start on the property ladder. Michelle Bullock said it straight. Housing policy is a matter for government. That's her way of saying, don't look at us. The RBA's job is to control inflation, not house prices. Existing homes aren't even part of the inflation numbers they target. They look at rents and new build costs, but not the price of the house you buy. So when house prices go through the roof, they can say, well, technically, that's not inflation. Meanwhile, home values have risen by over $120,000 in just 3 years. And the average first home buyer in Sydney, for example, now needs 7 years to save a deposit. And the RBA's answer, there's nothing we can do. So they're literally saying house prices are not part of your cost of living. This is madness, guys. So what happens next? The big banks think more cuts are coming in 2026. Westpac reckons November, February, and May. Every one of those cuts will pour more petrol on the fire. And with the government's 5% deposit scheme now live, first-home buyers are rushing in. We're seeing it in the numbers right now. Supply is at record lows and continuing to lower even more. Migration is still adding tens of thousands of new buyers every year. Even the RBA knows what's coming, but they've said it's totally out of their hands. So if you're hoping the central bank was going to step in and cool this market down, they won't. They've basically said, good luck, Australia. So here's the truth. House prices are taking off again. The RBA knows it, the government knows it, everybody knows it. The RBA governor has flat out said she can't stop it, and it's not their job. They're focused on inflation and jobs, not housing. Meanwhile, approvals are falling, supply is collapsing, and demand is rising. So when the RBA cuts rates again next year, and they will, prices are going to shoot even higher. This isn't a plan, this is a surrender. The people in charge of the economy are admitting they've lost control of the housing market. And that right there tells you everything about where we're headed. So all of this is great news if you're a property investor, because as you can see, demand is going to remain high. The cost of money, the cost of debt is going to get even cheaper and even better. People's cash flow is going to improve. And this means that if you place your money into assets, residential property, you are going to ride a wave of inflation-led growth of the property market over the next 5 to 10 years. This is going to set you up very strongly for your financial freedom. If you've liked this video, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe so that you can get your daily property update every single day from me. This is your 3 to 6 minute update on the property market every single day so that you can be a property insider. By the way, I'd love to hear your opinions on where the property market is at. Drop a comment below and let me know your thoughts. Take care, everyone.